30.
Yo, what up? What's going on, everybody?
Across Lebanon, Israel's bombardment continues. The IDF says they're targeting Iran-backed Hezbollah, who overnight fired rockets at Israel. Israel still maintains the two-week ceasefire struck between the US and Iran earlier this week did not encompass their ground and aerial incursions into Lebanon. There are proposals for the two countries, who normally only communicate via intermediaries, to meet for direct talks next week. The Lebanese president says they will only partake if these devastating strikes, which have claimed almost 2,000 lives, stop. In Pakistan's capital, Islamabad, tight security restrictions have been put in place for negotiations between the US.
Basically, as expected, Zoran Mamdani is completely destroying New York. His stupid, dumb communist policies are just driving up living expenses, so people are getting exactly what they asked for. That's what communism does. When you're promised free shit, when the money isn't there, everyone goes broke and then everything gets more expensive. It's what happened in the Soviet Union. It's what happened in China. What's happened in Cuba, South America. Like clockwork, communism does what communism does.
And Iran this weekend. Pakistan, which borders Iran, has emerged as a key interlocutor, but is warning that the gaps between the two nations' negotiating positions are wide. Nevertheless, boarding Air Force 2 for the talks, US Vice President J.D. Vance said he expects them to be positive.
If the Iranians are willing to negotiate in good faith, we're certainly willing to extend the open hand. If they're going to try to play us, then they're going to find that the negotiating team is not that receptive.
Not long after he was airborne, US President Donald Trump dampened expectations, posting, "The Iranians don't seem to realize they have no cards, other than a short-term extortion of the world by using international waterways. The only reason they are alive today is to negotiate." The Iranian delegation, led by the Speaker of the country's parliament, Mohammad Bagher Khalibaf, has arrived in Islamabad. But on social media, he's been demanding a ceasefire in Lebanon and the release of Iran's blocked assets prior to the commencement of negotiations. If both sides actually do sit down for negotiations in Islamabad, the list of issues, including reopening the Strait of Hormuz and Iran's enriched uranium, are not going to be worked through.
It sounds like the US is going to pummel them with more airstrikes. So the civilization-ending threat may end up coming to pass because Iran's leadership, the IRGC, are just fucking retarded. Who's that guy? I can't remember the fucking video or the channel. He made a really good video about it. What's the guy's fucking name? I think he might be Iranian. There we go. Yes, Tom Nash. There we are.
The Iranian regime has already lost this war, and there is zero chance of ever recovering. And it goes in direct contrast to what you've been hearing on mainstream media, especially on the Western side of things. It definitely goes against what you've been hearing on TikTok, on social media, where you have been convinced for the past few weeks that Iran is winning this war. Now, it has nothing to do with how many warplanes or ships the United States military has destroyed in Iran. It has nothing to do with the military balance of power.
Hungary's election is tomorrow. Hopefully they vote for the opposition instead of Viktor Orban. He is so corrupt and is Putin's puppet. Even JD Vance went to Hungary to campaign for him 2 days ago. Unbelievable.
Since he's working with the Russian regime, it wouldn't surprise me if the elections are rigged in some way. But yeah, it's pretty fucked. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
It has everything to do with one little place called the Strait of Hormuz. The entire Western media is not reading the situation correctly. And here's how we got here. So everybody knows about the famous ultimatum that Donald Trump set for Iran. Basically, open the Strait of Hormuz or else I'm gonna bomb bridges and power plants and send you back into the dark ages. So just as this ultimatum was about to expire, we heard about a deal for the next 2 weeks for a ceasefire, a temporary ceasefire brokered by the Pakistani government. Now, both sides would communicate and they're supposed to find a long-term solution. But whether this deal becomes a permanent peace or whether this deal collapses and the war continues to escalate, it does not change the final.
I don't know why Trump and JD Vance are supporting Orban when that is directly against the USO's interest for Orban to win, but the polls are looking good for the opposition. Also, the opposition is centre-right, not far-left, pro-Islamic immigration, so that's good too.
Who the fuck knows? Anything regarding Russia with the Trump administration is like a weird, fucked mess. I think it likely has some link to do with the Epstein thing and the Russian regime. Who the fuck knows, though? Thanks for the donation, Dodo. What are you eating? Tofu, broccoli, and rice.
Final conclusion of this video, which is that Iran has already lost the war, no matter how this ceasefire deal plays through for the next couple of weeks, couple of months, or even couple of years. We have to cover everything. So number one, I'm going to show you Iran's own goal. It is one of the worst own goals I've ever seen being scored on the political global chessboard since I've been studying geopolitics. Number two, I'm going to talk to you about what's next. There's multiple scenarios. It's not just one thing. And I'm going to talk about the winners, the losers, and the potential outcomes of this Iranian situation. Now, what I do on this channel, and I pride myself of not taking sides. One of the things I hate the most about Western media is how everything became political. You only hear agendas and you only hear paid shills. You never...
I'm not going to bother reacting to Mia Khalifa. She's a dumb bitch. She's literally just a retard who did porn. Somehow she got a fucking job commenting on sports. Like, what the fuck do I care about any of her political takes? And we know she's a Nazi.
Never get the actual analysis. I have no sides here. I don't care. I'm just here to give you the objective information. I'm not gonna decry Trump. I'm not gonna hate on Trump. I'm not an Iranian shill. I don't hate anybody. I'm just an analyst. And I'm gonna give you what you have not been getting from mainstream media, from Western media, from Eastern media, from no media. I could not find for the life of me for the past month a good analysis explaining exactly what's going on with zero agenda. So if that is what you're looking for, you're definitely in the right place. So don't click nothing, don't smash nothing, don't buy nothing, just listen. I've laid out 10 predictions for the next 10 years on the global chessboard. Massive project I've been working on, and I want you guys to have it. So you can download the complete guide for free right now. Go to the description of the video, click the link, and it's free, it's yours, it's my report to you. The reason it's there and not here is because, number one, it's very, very long. And number two, there's certain things I simply cannot say here. So that report is my full, uncensored, complete analysis of the next decade, my top 10 things that I think are going to happen. And that report is going to serve you financially and geopolitically. It's going to ensure you understand exactly what's going on. Go get it. Thank you so much. Okay, right now, let's go back a step back. Okay, why this war?
Sleepy Donate Tellers, Frank is literally insane to organize this. I don't think he organized it.
I knew he is.
Yeah.
Frank,
So
you know
we're getting justice for Frank.
Yeah, I don't think he organized that.
Got revenge on Dr. Taban, sir.
Justice for Frank Tefano. He was botched by a surgeon down there, Dr. Taban.
Yeah, what's up, sir?
Did you guys go in court? Because I could just...
Because they didn't mention Frank paying them or anything. Frank did a real dum-dum. He like made a video about it and encouraged this behavior while he has a lawsuit with this guy, and while they're trying to get him recognized as a what is it, vexatious litigant. So really fucking stupid. I can't stand these fucking dumbass TikTok fuckwits, but thanks for the donation, Sleepy.
War even started? Well, it depends on who you ask, essentially, right? A lot of people think that this war started because of a cover-up to essentially wash away the stench of the Epstein files. Now, I'm going to say maybe to this, okay? Another conspiracy theory is that Bibi Netanyahu and the Israelis are really puppeteering Donald Trump, and this is an Israeli conspiracy. I'm going to say maybe here, okay. But the one thing that these theories have in common, we have yet seen any evidence supporting any of those theories. It is pure speculation and it's pure assumption. Maybe is the best I can give you here. But I don't operate in maybes. And another rule I have is I follow the money, because most geopolitical decisions come down to money, come down to dollars, not the Epstein files and not some Israeli conspiracy. And when you follow the money, you actually see the pattern that I've talked about in my previous video. Donald Trump is working through a very specific plan. That plan is to suffocate the Chinese by taking away oil, because China has one major weakness, which is they're not energy independent. They acquire a lot of oil, especially since they're the global factory, and that oil comes from outside. So that's why he did the Venezuela model on Iran, but Iran is much bigger, much stronger, and much more diversified in the centers of power. That is why Venezuela was an immediate fix, and now Trump owns Venezuela. But the idea here is China. China is the holy grail. Trump is trying to break apart the Chinese-Russian-Iranian alliance. Now, Iran is the weakest link in this alliance. That's not the problem. But if you take away China's ability to buy cheap oil from Venezuela and from Iran, you make it super dependent on Russia.
Sleepy donated $2, so dumb.
Yesterday, when was the assassination of Charlie Kirk? And to my surprise, it responded with this. There hasn't been an assassination of Charlie Kirk. As of now, he's alive and there's no verified report of anything like that happening. If you come across a post or video claiming otherwise, it's almost certainly misinformation. Now, I closed out of this a few times and asked it the same question, and it always gave me the same answer. Now, this is interesting because I know that this assassination was a staged event, and perhaps ChatGPT is telling us the truth. Let me show you how I know. We're going to start with a holographic projector in the back of this tent that had the exact same specs, by the way, that you need to make a hologram. Look into that. And they took this.
I don't even bother sending me this stupid shit. These people know they're lying. It's just a fucking game to get views on Instagram. I don't fucking care.
Walking around with a jab that got a little bit of Epstein in him.
No way.
Epstein is main.
Yeah, everybody knows this guy's a retard. Don't fucking care. Thanks for the donation, dude.
Russia and China are not actually good friends. They have a lot of animosity, they have a lot of beef, and when you make them absolutely codependent to the point there's no other alternative of energy provision, then you start internal beef. And the next step obviously will be Cuba, but that's going too far. He's working through a very specific plan. Iran is the link that you need to take away to squeeze China. And then you either break apart the Russian-Chinese alliance, or you make China so weak that it has to adhere to whatever Trump wants to do. But that is the stated goal. Now, from the stated goal to the achievement of said goal, the distance is great. And I'm not going to be sitting here telling you that the goal was achieved. This is not me dick riding anybody. If you look at it objectively, right, in order to achieve this goal, what Trump needs is one of two things. He needs to control Iranian oil and the flow of said Iranian oil to China. To do that, he needs either or a regime change, which he still did not achieve, or a policy change within the existing regime to cooperate with the United States. Also, not yet achieved. None of this is achieved so far. So as far as the stated goal of suffocating China, that hasn't happened yet. And that's why Trump is still there. Not because of any other reasons you have heard about, okay? Number two, look at this. Not really likely that this theocratic regime, and as I said right here, there's a lot of religious undertones, but also pragmatic survival. If this regime cooperates and yields to Trump, option number two, what happens is, number one, it doesn't make any sense from a Shiite perspective. Even the IRGC, who has now become the center of power in Iran, because the new supreme leader is nothing but a puppet, so now the IRGC is actually managing Iran and owning Iran. The age of the theocratic rule is pretty much over in Iran. But even the IRGC are heavily religiously motivated. So according to the Shiite world, it's going to be very, very hard, maybe even impossible for these guys to yield to Donald Trump. It's not going to happen. Plus, they love the chaos. They love being the underdog, and they thrive in this environment, religiously speaking, of course. Number one is more likely, but number one, as far as regime change, so far has not happened. So whether it happens or not in the next few days, few months, few years, that has not been achieved. So the goal of Trump of blocking China and cutting the supply chain from Iran to China has not been met, okay? And it has nothing to do with what Trump is saying. Trump is giving all these speeches about, oh, we destroyed their navy, we destroyed their air force, we're bombarding them, etc., etc. All is true. Militarily speaking, the United States against Iran is like a Ferrari racing against a Yugo from the 1980s. It doesn't make sense. It's just a mismatch. If this was a basketball game in the hood, we would reshuffle the teams because it's just not fair. It's a bunch of NBA players playing against kids who've never touched a basketball, okay? Not the point. You're gonna hear a lot of paid shills, a lot of useful idiots, and a lot of lazy analysts explain, as they have been doing over the past few weeks, how Iran is winning this war because they're raising the prices of gasoline at the pump and they're squeezing out everybody, etc., etc. Which is true. The prices of oil are coming up. The stock market is coming down. People are annoyed. Inflationary pressure is going up, but none of this is long term, and the analysis is absolutely wrong. Because you cannot analyze geopolitics in months, probably not even in a year or two. When you're looking at geopolitics, unless you're a paid shill or an idiot, which a lot of them are, I'm not going to name names, but you exactly know what I mean.
They're spreading communist propaganda that is just coming out of China. That's all it is. Beijing propaganda.
The lazy part is looking at 6, 12 months, 18 months forward, not seeing the bigger picture. And the bigger picture here for Iran is quite alarming. I'll show you. So what happened with Iran? I'm going to explain this very, very briefly. Okay. So Iran essentially admitted to itself and to everybody in the world that it simply cannot win this war with conventional warfare. They don't have the firepower to match up against the United States and the Israelis. They simply cannot. So what they've elected to do is wage economic war to pressure the United States and the Israelis by raising the price of oil. Okay? That is all it is. The reason Iran can do it is because they hold the choke point, at least one choke point, which is right here, which I'm sure you heard this name before, called the Strait of Hormuz. It's located right here. A lot of it is, by the way, owned, well, not owned, but borders with Oman. But Iran also holds this part, which means that Iran quite easily can blockade this passage. All you need is a couple drones and a couple grenades, and no shipping company will ever take the risk of trying to sail through here. It's a very narrow point, and it's a huge squeeze, and that's why crude oil is now north of 100 climbing up, because Iran has been squeezing this. The other thing is that Iran has already announced they're going to squeeze the second choke point we have right here, called the Bab el-Mandab, near Yemen. This is another choke point that leads all the way to the Suez Canal, next to Egypt. But if you block these two, by the way, the reason Iran can block this one is because Yemen isn't a real country anymore. It's been absolutely annihilated, and Iran loves to step in these vacuums, arm paramilitary groups, which they have, called the Houthis, and now Iran owns Yemen, owns Lebanon, owns parts of Iraq, etc., etc. But in Yemen, what they can easily do is block this part, and then you block essentially 40% of the global traffic of oil, spiking prices north of 140, 150, okay? And that is going to be very bad for the stock market. It's going to be a lot of pressure, etc., etc., okay? But I want you to think in decades. Don't think in 12 months period. What we have here essentially is somebody taking a hostage during a robbery. Right now, assume Iran, in this analogy, is the armed robber. They're armed with a gun, and now they've taken a hostage, an innocent civilian, and now they're faced with 500 policemen, all with guns aimed at them at the entrance to the bank. And now we have a standoff, right? There's no way this one robber with one gun can match up against 500 policemen with machine guns and SWAT equipment and helicopters. There's no way. But that robber has one leverage, which is the hostage. The hostage keeps the robber alive, equalizes the playing field, because nobody on the police side wants or is willing to take any action that's going to actually hurt the hostage. As long as the robber has the hostage, he has leverage and he can negotiate with the police. The minute the robber decides to shoot the hostage, that leverage is gone. It will never be brought back up, because once you kill that leverage, you have nothing. All you have is one gun against 500 armed policemen, and with the dead hostage, there's literally nothing that you can do. Iran has held the closure of the Strait of Hormuz over the head of their neighbors, whether it be the UAE or the Saudis or Qatar and the entire region or Kuwait. But they've essentially told their neighbors, hey, we're going to be the neighborhood bully, and you're going to play nice with us, and you're going to let us get away with a lot of stuff that are nasty, because if you don't play nice, well, your only way out for your oil is right here, and we're just going to block it. The only way the UAE, the Saudis, and the Kuwaitis and the Qataris can send gas and oil is through the Strait of Hormuz. If Iran blocks it, they all block. They all can't make money. So the squeeze is double, both politically, geopolitically, globally, as far as the price of oil, but also the entire Gulf region is unable to export oil, and that is economic terrorism, pretty much. And because of this threat, everybody tried to play nice with Iran. Well, Qataris obviously try to be their best friends. The Saudis have tried to make deals with them across the years, try to get friendly, but everybody respected this threat. But because they've never actually acted upon this threat seriously, they closed it here and there, but they've never done this, complete closure, and they've never really actually bombed their neighbors, etc., etc. Now, they've blocked this place up, okay? Now it's blocked. It's 100% blocked. And they're only letting their ships pass, Chinese ships and their ships, and they're making lots of money. So the Western media is telling you, well, the Iranians are making more money than ever because oil prices went up and they're actually exporting their oil from here without a problem. Sure, but that's nearsighted. It's very short-sighted. Yes, they'll make a few couple more bucks, whatever. But guess what happens? You think
they're going bankrupt, so literally does not matter. Whoopie fucking diddly do.
That the Saudis, the UAE, and the Kuwaitis and the Qataris are just gonna allow this to hover over their head when all of this is over so that Iran can do it again? Think about it. What is the one thing Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi, and the UAE, what is the one thing they have plenty of? Literally plenty of, endless money, okay? The Gulf countries have a cheat code. Imagine it's a video game. They can literally click a button and create endless amounts of money like back in the old games where you could just do a money glitch and get like gazillion dollars. That's literally what they are. So if you have endless money and you have endless oil and Iran has showed you they're willing to kill the hostage right here, what you're gonna do? You're gonna figure out a way to eliminate this threat. Now you cannot do it militarily because again, all you need to block this is a drone with a grenade. It's very hard to stop. So what's gonna happen is all these countries are gonna figure out what's the next best thing. Well, if we're not able to use this, and if Iran is gonna use this as leverage over our heads for the next 20 years, we have to get away from here. How? Well, the Saudis have already figured it out a long time ago. They actually built a pipeline going from one coast to the other all the way to the Red Sea, right here. The capacity, this is Saudi, by the way, this whole thing, it's massive, right? The capacity of this pipeline that bypasses the Strait of Hormuz and the Bab el-Mandab, the second closure point, which is currently now being threatened as it's going to get closed by the Iranians, right? And when I say the Iranians, I mean the Iranian regime.
Just nuke Iran, nuke Yemen. Shitholes anyway.
Not the Iranian people, who I absolutely love, but no beef with the Iranians. But again, the Iranian regime are known dirtbags, right? So the Iranian regime is saying, well, we're going to close this as well. So the Saudis have a pipeline. The pipeline capacity right now is small, about 7 million barrels a day. It's not enough. It's not enough to offset the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, but 7 millions actually flow from one coast to this coast, and then it gets uploaded to ships, and then it sails.
Dude, that would be some like epic gangster shit. If they made an adequate pipeline volume and then they started blocking ships so Iran couldn't use the strait, that would be fucking epic.
Through here, which is actually the Suez Canal, right here, through the Red Sea. Pretty simple solution, right? So what the Saudis are going to do is two things. Number one, they're going to expand this pipeline heavily, and they're going to work with the Kuwaitis, with the Qataris, and with the UAE. All are going to pay for this. And this pipeline is going to get expanded like you've never seen before. Everybody's going to pay for it, and it's going to actually bypass this whole kerfuffle right here. So the oil is going to flow all the way from the Gulf countries, all the way to the Red Sea, through the Suez Canal. The second thing they're going to do is they're going to figure out, hey, we don't really have a beef with the Israelis right here. And the Israelis have a coastline in the Mediterranean. So even if the Suez Canal is open today, but maybe tomorrow something happened in Egypt, maybe we have terrorists right here closing the Suez Canal, maybe it's another choke point right here, right? Why don't we do this? We build an extra pipeline from here, and instead of only relying on the Suez Canal, we're going to open up a second pipeline connecting the existing pipeline to the Israeli port on the Mediterranean Sea. And that port is going to receive this oil, put it on tankers, but also continue to build pipeline underwater and actually get all the way to Greece and then all the way right here to EU. So what the Saudis, the UAE, and the Kuwaitis and the Qataris are going to do, essentially, they're going to build a pipeline. This part is going to be underwater. That's going to expand the existing 7 million barrels, but also build a massive pipeline all the way to Europe. The only thing that's preventing this pipeline from happening for the past 40 years is the fact that this pipeline has to go through the Israelis. And right now, everybody is saying, well, look, Israelis are not a good PR move for us because in the Arab world, as the Saudis, we are the leaders of the Arab world. What will people say? You know, unpopular kings tend not to survive, etc., etc., etc. But when the threat is so big from Iran,
Animal Liberation $20. When I was on my juice cleanse for 90 days, I was drinking 2.5 gallons of juice. At least half of that was fruit. Why is it that I was losing fat even though I was taking it above what my supposed maintenance calories are? Well, juice has absolutely zero fat in it. And you'll actually see case reports of this. There's something called rabbit starvation. People who are only eating rabbit meat, that also happens to them. Rabbits are extremely low in fat, and what can happen is if you're not consuming any fat or like practically zero, you're going to end up metabolizing fat in your body over time. And if you're only consuming protein and maybe a little bit of carbohydrate or only carbohydrate and practically zero protein, you're going to lose body fat over time. You're likely also going to lose muscle, especially if you're just drinking juice. But yeah, low-fat diets do help you lose weight. So if you can bring it low enough with something extreme, like only eating juice or only consuming protein powder or something, yeah, even if you're eating supposedly more than maintenance, over time you will likely still just lose weight. De novo lipogenesis, the conversion of carbohydrate to fat, it's not anywhere near to a degree where you'd actually be able to gain weight. What makes you gain body fat is if you're eating in a caloric surplus, fat that would normally get, burnt off for energy, it just doesn't. And then the fat that you eat in your food just gets stored as body fat. So the primary mechanism of weight gain is just consuming, fat in your diet and eating in a caloric surplus. Thanks for the donation, though, Animal Liberation. Appreciate it. 21st, $22. Why won't you play the videos of the guys harassing Dr. Taban on stream? You keep skipping them. We want to see them. Obviously, dipshit. It's not funny and they're annoying. And it's boring. So that's why. Thanks for the donation, 21st. Dodo donated $2. Let me see.
I've made clear my very deep opposition to this war in Iran. It is an opposition not just of a procedural nature or a political nature, but frankly of a moral nature. We are speaking about a war that has killed thousands of civilians.
The Iranian regime kills thousands of civilians.
War that is deeply unpopular across the city and across this country, not just because of what we...
This is like saying... it's really immoral for America to go to war with Germany and Japan because it's killing millions of civilians. While Germany and Japan are killing millions of civilians. Like, it's just fucking retarded.
We are seeing it result in, but also because it is utilizing tens of billions of dollars to kill people, money that could otherwise be spent on making life easier for people across the city and this country. And the very things that I often speak about that are necessary.
Yeah, Doreen Ryder is right about, very low fat, high carbohydrate diets not causing weight gain.
For working class New Yorkers that we are told are impossible or unrealistic, they would cost a fraction of this tens of billions that we're seeing. And
does that frustrate you that you're watching this money, $900 million?
And that's one of the reasons why I was able to lose weight so quickly. I lost 70 pounds in 3 months. I was eating a ridiculously low fat diet. Like, there had to have been less than 5 grams of fat in my daily diet. I was only consuming protein powder, blueberries, and I think like 1 apple a day. So like it's practically zero fat.
A day being spent on the war, where you have projects which cost much less that could make a huge difference. Does that frustrate you?
I think it should frustrate all of us. Tupac said it decades ago. It continues to be true about the fact that we always seem to have money for war, but not to feed the poor. And that is not the way that politics should be. That is not what Americans want politics to be.
Yeah, so this guy hates Jews. He wants them murdered. That's why he supports the Iranian regime, because they're the biggest worldwide sponsor of terrorism. And if Iran's gone, then Jews won't have to suffer more October 7th attacks. Hate that fucking cunt.
Why was quantum computing not a thing in the 1950s? Like, it could have been. Yeah. John von Neumann, good example. Absolutely pioneering computation, also wrote a very important book about quantum mechanics. A couple of things that I think are interesting. One is that, of course, computation became far more salient, sort of late 70s, early 80s. Yeah, it just became a thing which many more people were interested in, partially for, for very banal reasons. You could go and buy a PC, you could buy an Apple II, you could buy a Commodore 64, you could buy all these kinds of things. It became apparent to people that these were very powerful devices. At the same time, in the quantum case, that was also the time of the Paul trap and the ability to trap single ions and so on. And up to that point, we hadn't really had the ability to manipulate single quantum states. So you kind of got these two separate things that just for historically contingent reasons had both sort of matured around sort of, let's say, 1980 or so. The story about Richard Feynman, he went and got one of the first PCs and he was apparently just so excited. He actually tripped and hurt himself quite badly carrying his brand new computing device. That's a very historically contingent coincidence, but having somebody who's very, very talented and understanding of quantum mechanics also just very excited about these new machines. It's not so surprising perhaps that he's thinking then, what similar story could you have told 10 years earlier? The conditions don't exist for it. So I think that's, I mean, it's quite a banal story.
Interesting. Do you believe a protein amount is mistaken here? Seems like a lot.
Here's how simple it is to make. Take 2 cups of watermelon seeds, also called magaj, soak them for about 6 hours, then blend them with 4 cups of fresh water until completely smooth. Strain it and you'll get a rich watermelon seed milk like this. Now heat that milk in a pan and something magical happens.
Literally never heard of this before.
It begins to curdle. The solids separate. Then strain it through a cloth. Remove the excess water inside, flatten the residue and place something heavy on top to press it firm. 30 minutes later, you'll be left with a block of protein-packed plant-based paneer, which contains about 80 grams of protein. Assuming that you'll eat about a third of this block in one serving, that's 27 grams.
I have no idea what the protein concentration is with watermelon seeds. I didn't even know people ate those. So I'm not sure. Weird. I didn't know that was a thing. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Low-fat diets help you lose weight. 1 year ago, for years, it's calories in, calories out, doesn't matter if it's fat, carbohydrate or protein. Richard, what a delusional idiot. Can't believe people listen to this flip-flopping moron on anything at all.
So, most people don't eat retarded diets where they only eat like protein or sugar. So when you're talking about normal sets of circumstances, like, yeah, with a very high degree of accuracy and predictability, you'll be able to predict body fat loss with energy balance. So if you do some kind of extreme diet where you're eating practically zero fat, where you're only eating like fruit or only eating protein powder or something, that effect of having practically zero fat in your diet is going to accelerate weight loss. And even if you're in a caloric surplus, you might still experience weight loss. So thanks for the donation, jackass.
So Durian Rider was right about telling that fat girl she wasn't drinking enough Sprite and that's why she wasn't losing weight.
No. That's not what was going on. Thanks for the donation, though, 21st.
Guys, do you see how both Richard's hands on his keyboard while videos are playing and he's staring off screen and isn't even listening to the video because he's can't pay attention to more than one thing at a time? Give her the attention she needs, not wants.
I'm listening to the video. Don't you worry. Oh. Thanks for the donation, 21st. Has Frank Tefano uploaded any stupid shit today? Is that a new one?
Sunday night, my guys just left, so they had the light off. Kind of adds a dramatic contrast effect to the bread we just made today. Cool little design on there. So we got the fresh rye bread and then the fresh regular sourdough. And we bake this Sunday, ship it right out to you guys Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So despite us freezing the bread, it is as fresh as humanly possible. So then we freeze it to preserve the flavor. And then we send it right out to you guys. And
I love how he's like, the bread is fresh because it's frozen. The fuck sense does that make?
I get to enjoy bread for...
I don't know what the fucking obsession is with sourdough. It tastes like shit. It's the shittiest, worst tasting, toughest, chewiest fucking bread, and it fucking sucks. You can't make anything with it. Everything you make with sourdough sucks. Sandwiches are fucking terrible because the bread is so tough and dense and chewy. Like, the only thing that makes any amount of sense is if you, like, soak it in soup first, but who the fuck does that? It's just fucking terrible.
A few days out of the week, and then usually I'll just switch to whatever we make that's fresh. It's not always all at once, but today we got hamburger buns and sourdough, so be sure to check out the burger restock as well. Sunday night.
Cam, don't you tell her sup, Nicker? Can I dump these here?
More than other women, and in a recent study that will be shocking to absolutely no one, the results showed that male students show more tolerance for their political enemies than females show for their own allies. That's right. In other words, women are meaner to people on their own side than men are to people who sit on the opposite side of an issue. Look at this chart. What do you notice? Well, there is no overlap between the genders. Being a man is what makes you more tolerant. That's literally it. So that's probably why when we get home and complain about that bitch Becky at work and the men in our lives don't seem to care, it's not that they don't care.
It has to do with female competition strategy. They try to sabotage others rather than outdo others. I think that's the primary mechanism that's going on here. What's kind of interesting is you can actually see the rise of a lot of fascist dictators, and they got huge, vast majority of support from women. Hitler was a huge hit with the ladies. Mao Zedong was able to obtain power because women supported him. So, like, even the Soviet Union, George Orwell talked about how it was mostly young women who were the biggest supporters of the Soviet Union. So, you know, just a fact.
off. They want to take $2,000 off. That's a joke. You take no money off when somebody calls you on the phone. 000. Lowball the shit out of them. Have them drive down to the store and you tell them, I'm not selling it to you, you stupid asshole, and you bash your teeth out. Oh, what if I...
That'll upset people. Thanks for the donation, Cam. 21st donated $2.
All right, so we're going to talk about the FDA. I've just learned this today, crazy. And it goes with what I've been saying for years, right? I get so much of this stuff for free. I get chocolate bars, this vegan fatty stuff. I get dumpster diving. If you know, you know. Thousands of dollars a week I can pull from bins. This is use by date, 8th of August 2026. Not even, that's totally fine. Kettle Crisp, my favourite. Yo, but you got 11 grams of fat here. So, not much, but it's going to add up. A calorie and a calorie. But then again, the FDA says they can have 20% over calories or 20% under calories, apparently. So how many calories in a pack of chips? You don't really know.
You can't have under.
That's read on businessinsider.com.
The way they measure calories isn't 100% accurate. I think there's a few different methods, but like basically what they do is they just burn food. So is that it? Do they allow 20% margin? I don't know.
You can have under as well.
You can.
Yeah. So this is why tracking calories is a total waste of time. Because how much is in a packet of chips? Michelle's eating a carrot on it. How much is in a carrot? We don't know. You know what I mean? Don't worry about that. Look at these pigeons over here. These pigeons are kind of coming over here. And they're going to eat these chips. They don't care about calories. They're just chopping it down. Are any of these pigeons fat? Can't fly, so too fat? No. Any string foots here? So stop tracking calories and understand a calorie is not a calorie, because look how greasy my hands are now. This is only 10 grams of fat in a whole packet. Look how greasy it is. So that's going to, that fat, when you eat that, that goes into endothelium cells, goes through your skin, it goes to your scalp, it can cause balding, it can cause acne, clog your pores, okay? A calorie ain't a calorie. Every gram of fat you eat will spike your insulin resistance, okay?
Well, that's not true. It's saturated fat in particular.
So you have to be really active to burn off the fat. If you're sedentary or you're injured, do not eat this stuff, man. Give it to the birds, okay? The birds can handle more fat, you know, but if you're fat, like, you know what I mean? If you can't see your abs, then don't eat stuff like this, okay? And if you can't see, like, triple-decker 10, 12, 20 back abs, then don't eat stuff like this, all right? Punch it up like that and give it to the birds. All right? Simple as that, okay? But yeah, I noticed I've been eating a few packets of these Kettle Crisps, and my abs are starting to like get a little bit hidden, right? So it's just...
Yeah, I mean, low-fat diets do help you stay leaner. Thanks for the donation, 21st.
How stale that bread must be. It probably takes 3 to 5 business days to ship. And Frank doesn't store it properly, he leaves it out exposed to the open air in his store when he leaves. I have an old used jock strap that says harder daddy. You want it? Aubergine emoji, nervous sweat emoji, cool face emoji, steam locomotive emoji.
No, I think I'm good. Thanks for the donation, James. Dodo donated $2. You have no idea where your consciousness will go once you die. So you don't actually know when you die it goes black and nothing matters. Your consciousness could spawn somewhere else, like how you spawned in this life. Yeah, well, ask anybody who's dead. So, they'd know best, right? Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
And when the Israeli situation has now gone second grade, and the Iranian threat has become so much greater. The Saudis and their neighbors will all basically say, you know what, the Israeli thing, the PR damage, we'll take it. It's going to take 10 years to build this thing anyways. By that point, who knows what happens? All of them have been pushed by Iran, by killing the hostage, into the Abraham Accords. Right now, the UAE has the Abraham Accords, but now Qatar and the Saudis will sign Abraham Accords, and they'll build this pipeline all the way to Europe through the Israelis. What happens? The Israelis get their leverage, they actually have the pipeline, they get their money, and they become friends with the entire Gulf except Iran, building a coalition against Iran, isolating Iran even further. So geopolitically, financially, everybody wins except Iran. That's what happens when you kill the hostage, okay? Now, Iran's isolation is going to increase by 2035 like you haven't seen before. And the reason is quite simple. Number one, we're going to have an alliance between the Gulf countries, the Israelis, and the EU, because everybody wants the oil to flow without interruption. And they know if they get out of Iran's thumb through this pipeline, it's going to happen. And it's all going to be secured and sponsored by the US, which also benefits from cheap oil. But also what happens is that the relevance of the Bab el-Mandab and the Hormuz Strait actually declines, which means Iran loses leverage. But the other thing that people forget, that the economy in Iran is in a massive decline. We're talking about an economic collapse. The reason that the protests in Iran started just a few months ago is because of economic issues. It's because there's no lights and there's no food. It's very, very simple. They have a drought, no water, there's economic decline, and there's social unrest. After this war is over, at some point, even if the regime survives, these things combined with that thing are pushing the Iranian regime into implosion. So it's not about it's not about if.
No, I would not ever travel to a Muslim country. Thank you for the stupid question, dumbass.
It's about when. The Iranian regime has already collapsed. It just doesn't know it yet. There is no way out of this. Nobody's going to give them money. Nobody's going to help them. And their value, by getting decreased right here, their value as friends to the Russians and the Chinese declines. The Russians and Chinese not going to help them if this is no longer a pressure point on the United States and the Europeans. So whether Trump gets this done or not, as far as the China angle, the Iranian regime has already lost it. There's no way back. You cannot resuscitate the hostage. It's gone. If you enjoyed this video, thank you. Tell your friends, share the channel. I want more people to get this unbiased, unfiltered.
Yeah, and I mean, Trump's right. The Strait of Hormuz has to open at some point. It's the only way Iran can make money, so, you know.
Before President Trump visits Beijing next month for a high-stakes summit with Xi Jinping, the Chinese leader will already be laying the groundwork on the one issue beyond tariffs and trade spats that remains the flashpoint in relation.
I fucking hate this Winnie the Pooh looking motherfucker.
You heard him, Richard. If you're fat, like you can't see your abs, don't eat potato chips. So that means you can't eat any more chips, you fat fuck, since you have no ABS, lol. Kinda insane how you have no visible abs and you've been doing fitness for years.
That's
with the U.S., Taiwan, and the billions of dollars in arms sales the United States makes with the self-governing island Beijing considers its territory. Xi has made no secret of his ambition to unify Taiwan with the mainland, nor of his disdain for its elected president, William Lai, who views Taiwan as its own country. To defend against any attack, Lai's government wants a huge boost in defense spending, $40 billion over the next 8 years, much of it to be spent on American-made weapons. That's where Zheng Liwen comes in, Taiwan's main opposition leader, who wants closer ties to China, which makes her a polarizing figure here. The world views the Taiwan Strait as the most severe and dangerous powder cake, she says. I have high expectations for cross-strait reconciliation. Zheng has even accepted a rare invitation from Xi to visit him, weeks ahead of the U.S. president. Her strategy, she says, embrace Beijing to avoid all-out war. And so as China has stepped up military drills around the island, Zheng's Nationalist Party has also blocked government efforts to boost defense spending, despite the U.S. urging Taiwan to...
Taiwan actually elected a woman? The fuck?
...commit more to its armed forces. Do you believe that U.S. support is still there for Taiwan?
It's very crucial and important for us to have solid U.S. support for Taiwan.
What makes Zheng's turn toward China more dramatic is that she used to be on the other side, a student activist calling for Taiwan's independence.
There you go.
Criticizing the very party she now leads.
People here would love better cross-strait relations, but people's attitudes towards the People's Republic of China and its political system are incredibly low.
The twist is that there's growing skepticism in Taiwan toward the U.S., too.
Taiwan came in, they stole our chip business.
President Trump lashing out at Taiwan over semiconductors, tariffs, and defense spending triggered a decline in perception here that America is a trustworthy ally.
The fuck does he mean stole our chips?
That will have Taiwan's back in any fight with China.
As someone who monitors these changes, does that worry you?
I think one of the biggest concerns is that people here think that
Trump just has retard brain. Somebody told him that Taiwan makes most of the world's chips, and then he's like, They stole our chips. America made chips and then they stole them. Like that's probably what he was like fucking thinking.
that trying to have a stronger relationship with the United States is either a waste of time or bad for Taiwan.
And so John...
When you finally interview me, I think in part of the interview I would like to start doing a strip dance for you and the viewers. I do a mean strip dance. Would love to reveal some skin and swing my older man cock close up to the camera, kissing face emoji, cool face emoji, aubergine emoji, smiley face emoji, aubergine emoji.
I don't think we'll be doing that. Thanks for the donation though, James.
Li Wen's landmark visit will be closely watched in Washington. Xi Jinping is leveraging the optics to show that Beijing can talk with Taipei and that China has allies in Taiwan.
Didn't they have like another massive round of culling of their like generals? Like I think they wiped out like 90% of the military generals because of like disloyalty.
For me, improving our relationship with mainland China will never compromise our relationship with the U.S., she says, adding it's not an either-or choice.
Is reunification your goal?
My goal is to begin creating peace, she says, adding it's too early to tell for now. Janice.
Yeah, don't elect women to lead a country. That's the moral of the story here.
Median rent in Manhattan rose to $5,000 a month in February, and in Brooklyn, $4,296.
Yep, New York City broke another record, but it's not a good one, because not only are rents here the highest they've ever been, they're surging at a time when rents in other parts of the country are declining. But don't worry, New York's got a new communist mayor.
Dude, I can't imagine spending $5 grand a month on rent. That's just a fucking nightmare.
Girls prefer people with Durian Rider's physique compared to something like your physique. Girls prefer super lean and ripped 8-pack abs over a bulky guy. Even if the guy is somewhat ripped, he wouldn't be as lean as that, and girls prefer leaner guys.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for the donation, 21st.
And he's got a plan to fix everything by erasing what's left of the middle class.
The median monthly rent in Manhattan has now hit $5,000. In Brooklyn, it's nearly $4,300. But then if you ask New Yorkers, they do not need a report to tell them that.
We'd been in a walk-up in Brooklyn for 4 years, and rent wasn't increasing so much, so we stayed there longer than we probably should have.
This is an untenable situation. So today we are announcing that we will be taking action, stepping in to represent the interests of the city and the interests of the tenants, and say once and for all who this government will be fighting for.
New York City landlords sounding the alarm over Mandami's rent freeze plan.
When did this become an ATM machine? This is an ATM machine. This is what happened in New York City. This is exactly what was your unaffordable affordable. Stop.
Right now, there are thousands of units that are not being rented out because it no longer makes financial sense. It's called warehousing. And what landlords are telling me is that if this rent freeze goes into effect, thousands more units will be taken off the market, which means everything that is remaining goes up in price.
He's doing exactly what he promised, and I fucking told you so. This dumbass is gonna make New York an even more unlivable fucking shithole. He's just such a fucking idiot. It's insane. I don't even know why anybody's living in New York at this fucking point. It's such an overrated, like, dipshit fucking city. Like, why not just move to fucking Florida? You have better weather, and it's fucking cheaper, and there's plenty of fucking jobs. There's no reason to be in fucking New York.
So as New York City rents hit record levels, the fix is in to freeze them in around 1 million apartments. But what nobody's talking about is that if you do this, it's just gonna backfire and make the whole affordability crisis here even worse. And just like the plans for free grocery stores and higher property taxes, this isn't the only communist affordability cure having the opposite effect, erasing the city's middle class. And you've got to understand that while freezing rents might make life more affordable in around 1 million city-regulated apartments, the costs to operate the buildings those apartments are located in, those keep going up. And if landlords can't raise rents on some of the apartments, the other roughly 3.5 million apartments that are left that aren't regulated, guess what's going to happen to those rents? They're going to go up.
Yeah, China wiped out 90% of the military generals, and yet you're still stupid enough to think the CIA's assessment China won't invade Taiwan in 2027 is due to them being scared of Trump as a result of the Iran war. Peak delusion, man. You're kinda dumb.
That's nice.
But there's more, because the mayor also wants to raise taxes and fees on businesses, who've also got to pay rent, which is gonna make it much more expensive to pay employees and workers, while keeping Ben & Jerry's ice cream under $10 a pint.
Florida has hurricanes filled with retarded MAGA, no legal cannabis, less vegan options. Oh no, I guess you're better off staying in New York, where you're spending $5,000 on a shitty fucking apartment that should be bulldozed, and having to deal with winter, and having no fucking money, and having to work 3 fucking jobs. Just fucking retarded.
Absolute nightmare for people just trying to make it in a city where their studio apartments cost an arm and a leg and haven't been renovated in decades. While they try to afford the $10 milk at our grocery stores, which they won't be able to buy at all after those stores close down, after the free stores put them out of business, and then implode on their own after running out of other people's money. And that brings us to the real reason why communism is gonna do the exact opposite of creating an
Hey, don't need to tell her that Cash Jordan guy is a right-wing influencer, so I'm kind of skeptical of the things he says. Yeah, you're a retard. I'm sure some of it's true, but, like, rents being down across the countries besides New York City is not true, so yeah, I'd be careful listening to him. That's great. You're a fucking dumbass.
Affordable city for every New Yorker, which was the mayor's campaign promise. You see, communism relies on other people's money, and once that money's gone, now what do you do? And as you're about to see, the real reason the new mayor's plans for America's first socialist sanctuary are already imploding is because New York's been flirting with communism since before he moved in. It just hasn't called it that, even though it's been out in the open for everyone to see, like the free hotel rooms for illegal immigrants, and the city's ever-expanding housing voucher programs, which are mandated by local laws, all paid for and propped up on the backs of hardworking New Yorkers struggling to survive. And as you're about to see, things get even worse once you realize it's so hard to build anything here and create more apartments that people can actually rent, that the tiny amount of apartments that do get built, well, they're only for the rich.
Tough times, and Mike and Sade, I'm going to tell you something that you probably don't know. Here in Gowanus, look at all of these new buildings behind me. There's construction going on every single corner. This is part of a new housing boom that's happening in Brooklyn right now. It's the new hotspot, and according to the new report, that rental market report by the Corcoran Group, rents are at an all-time high now in Brooklyn.
And that's because the apartments created in this new quote-unquote hotspot, which is the only place we've seen any construction of merit over the last several years, are so expensive most people can't even live in them. I mean, just look at these rents. This is crazy. You got to be in the top 95% of Americans income-wise if you even want to live in one of these places. But the protesters on the streets of this city don't seem to understand that at all.
There is only one solution! Communist revolution! Communist revolution! There is only one solution! There is only one solution!
I really wish you could just send these people to, like, some communist shithole country. Like, how many fucking times do these communist experiments have to fucking fail?
Right, so here they are, out on the streets, advocating for communism, open communism in New York City, as if that's gonna fix anything. We've already run out of other people's money. It's already not enough to pay for unlimited things everybody else wants. But while people are allowed to protest for communism in this city, there's other things that you're not allowed to talk about at all.
Beating drums, traffic barriers and barricades, and blowing whistles, hundreds of local residents came out Sunday night to protest plans to build a homeless shelter next to the 25th Avenue D-Train subway stop in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, if you want to protest the ever-expanding homeless industrial complex in this city that just seems to get bigger and bigger and bigger, costing us more and more money while helping fewer and fewer people, oh, nope. Can't do that. At the exact same time, look at who's got problems affording a place to live. It's the people protesting. They're supposed to pay over $4,000 a month now to live in Brooklyn, over $5,000 a month now to live in Manhattan, and get what? A place where one hand can't even wash the other hand. That's what's out there right now. But if you say anything about it, you become the enemy. Instead, you're supposed to just stay quiet and ignore the fact that communism is already all around you and making your life more expensive. Watch this.
I certainly wouldn't be able to afford it. The apartment that I'm in, it's a 2-bedroom apartment. And with rent stabilization, it's one price, but the apartment above me, say, is a regular market rate. Yeah, you'd be talking $5,000. How do people do it?
So if you move to New York right now, you're paying $4,000, $5,000 a month. You get to do it so somebody below you can live in a rent-regulated apartment, which is about to have frozen rent. Isn't that nice of you? Thank you so much. Meanwhile, the landlords that own these buildings, they've got to provide certain things for all apartments, no matter what the rent is, which is why so many of them sit in states of perpetual disrepair because they just aren't worth renovating.
It's kind of hilarious. When I lived in Toronto, I got a deal on the apartment that I rented on because I paid for the first and last month's rent before the building was built, and they gave a huge incentive. I think it was like $300 less per month if you rented out the building before it was built. So I was paying $1,600, whereas it would have normally been $1,900. And a year later, the guy who lived on the same floor as me, he had the exact same unit. It was a 1-bed plus den. He was paying $2,500 for rent. And I think my rent only went up to like $1,600. Yeah, it was like $1,680. So like, just fucking nuts, dude. How like only a year later, the guy ended up spending fucking like $900 a month more than me. Just fucking nuts.
You've got to pay heat, hot water. You've also got to renovate these apartments and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to bring them up to a level where somebody can even move in. And if that apartment's regulated by the government and it can only have rent that's so high, the costs go way higher than what you can actually earn on the apartment. And landlords are like, look, we can't.
$800, can you articulate a proposed solution or Cash Jordan's proposed solution for this crisis then? Yeah. Get rid of the stupid rent regulation system and let the free market do what the free market does. If somebody can't afford to live in New York, then leave New York. It's that simple. It's fucking stupid. All this, like, bureaucratic bullshit and, like, price fixing or, like, rent freezing and, it's nonsense. Look at any of the fucking red states that don't do this shit. They have cheaper fucking rent, cheaper housing, and it's higher quality, too. So all the weird bureaucratic red tape and all the weird, policies to help lower income people with the, like, rent freezing or rent regulations, it just ends up driving up the fucking price of all these units. That's all it does. So, yeah. Like, they're not even able to, like, build. You can see the same issue in places like San Francisco. Whenever anybody tries to even build new rental units, they can't even get a fucking building permit until, like, 8 years later to even get the permit to start building. So, and this is just what liberals do. They end up creating all these regulations and shit that make it impossible for the free market to actually exist, make it impossible for supply to meet demand, and then you end up having these affordability crises. Same thing happened in fucking San Francisco. So it's just retarded liberal bullshit.
Can't afford to even stay in business with some of these places. That's also making our housing crisis worse. So even getting a rent-stabilized apartment, it's not really helpful. I mean, these places are disasters because the city's created a situation where the best thing for the landlord is for the person living there to just move out and for the place to collect zero rent per month. And as you're about to see, things aren't great even for people who manage to move into these expensive luxury apartments.
We'd been in a walk-up in Brooklyn for 4 years and rent wasn't increasing so much, so we stayed there longer than we probably should have, and then we moved into a luxury building at the end of June 2025, which was a big jump up in rent for sure.
So this woman, she just moved into one of these new towers in an area of Brooklyn that built up a whole bunch of luxury buildings, and she says that the reason she moved was because she was in a place, she got trapped living there, she finally got out, now she's in a luxury building, but it costs...
What are your thoughts on the Incredibles movie? What are your thoughts on not asking me stupid questions and not wasting my fucking time with stupid bullshit?
Even more, like, this is a exercise in financial futility here. People are not building a life for themselves, they're not saving for the future, they're going paycheck to paycheck. Even while paying rent, most of the country could never even afford to live with roommates. This leaves most New Yorkers who are middle and working class completely in the dust, and it's erasing them and their future because they don't have a viable housing option. If your family expands and you're paying $5,000 a month to live with roommates, or perhaps you live by yourself in one of these one-bedroom apartments that cost that much, good luck finding a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom. Your rent is gonna double or triple. And this is happening in places like Brooklyn where the median income is $81,000 per year. People do not have a home to move into. They're either trapped where they are, or if they do manage to move and life changes, they have to leave the city and take their income with them. Opening up another 1-bedroom apartment for somebody who's gonna be here for a few years and then do the exact same thing. This is not creating a sustainable city. This is not creating an affordable city for everyone. Yet while we've got communist protesters roaming the streets, and while we've got a mayor who talks about taking down these landlords and making sure that tenants are protected, nobody wants to hear from the landlords at all. Nobody wants to hear from them why it's so expensive to even offer housing in this city to begin with, because then the real problems with all these affordability fixes become crystal clear.
These are 4 units. You see 1 staircase here, 3 behind me. Back in 2017, when this was built, the property taxes for just 1 unit right here was nearly $25,000.
Wow.
Now, 8 years later, it's up to $44,000. You've seen a 44% increase in property taxes alone. Rent obviously hasn't gone up 44%. Landlords say this is all because of New York City government making the problem worse, and they fear it's only going to get to be a bigger problem.
Of course, because the mayor said he wants to come out and either tax the millionaires that own these buildings more or raise property taxes on these buildings. Of course, it's only going to get worse. And here's the problem nobody wants to talk about. There's only so much money you can get for an apartment that is a certain size. If only one person can live there, its earnings potential are capped by its physical constraints. You can't just build apartments that can bring in $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month in these places, because that's what it's going to take for the landlord to be able to stay in business. At the same time, that's not affordable for anybody. What an absolute disaster. But hey, this is the situation that we've created in New York. This is the situation that's forcing out families and middle-income residents, because after they pay their rent, they got to go to the grocery store and they got to buy the groceries. And even if we end up with free grocery stores, eventually the taxes are going to be so high to afford the free groceries that
$800 VG after Goldie posted that message on Twitter saying that mosques in Iran were hubs of terrorism. This is what happened to her after that.
Goldie and I, do you know Goldie?
Goldie
Kamari? Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
I can barely hear anything.
We got an email saying from this hacker group saying that they'd commissioned Mexican cartel to behead us for $250,000. So I obviously went to the FBI and they opened the investigation. DOJ determined that it came from the Ministry of Intelligence in Iran.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and just get this, because it gets worse. After I had been on an episode of Piers Morgan, right? And Anna Kasparian had taken a clip of me and Goldie laughing at Cenk because he was going, Israel's to blame for 9/11, Israel's to blame for Iraq, Israel. Like, it was just funny, like we were laughing. And then she manipulates the clips and takes our laughter and says essentially that we were laughing at war. And she calls us laughing hyenas. So the Ministry of Intelligence, in its email that it was going to behead me, used Anna Kasparian's thing and said we were laughing like hyenas at war, just quoted her word for word. And it's like, is this, and then they have her in their Telegram group chats. So that Fast News, which is one of the state's media, they have her, they're promoting her, doing her like an anti-Israel stuff within their group chats. And it's like, and they've also, they've had Cenk Uygur on their IRIB, which is their broadcasting channel, and of course Tucker Carlson.
The grey man himself.
And it's like, is there not a point where people are going to see like how on God's green earth, these are people that are going out there saying like, oh, we're pro-American. You are literally being used by the enemy of the United States. They agree with your talking points. They follow you and fangirl over you. And the FBI is concerned about me against you. Do you know what I mean? Like you're not pro-America. You've gone so far the other way. And this moral.
Yeah, whatever.
And nobody's going to be able to afford anything here. Everyone's going to be just broke, walking around, waiting for somebody to give them something. That is communism 101 for you.
When did this become an ATM machine? Or an open checkbook? When do you get an open checkbook that you can write on any time, hey, we're going to increase it again. Hey, we're going to increase it again. This is an ATM machine.
Yeah.
This is what happened in New York City. This is exactly what was your unaffordable. Stop.
Mm-hmm.
This is what it is.
Right. This guy's got buildings to run, and he can't run them profitably because rents are frozen in certain buildings, or at least they will be soon. Right now, they're capped at levels that are so low, these apartments are already unprofitable, and his cost floor keeps rising. So what does he have to do? If he's got any market rate apartments left, he's got to hit the rents on those even harder. That's why we're seeing record rents at a time when rents in other parts of the country are falling. In other parts of the country, they got a massive housing supply. There's apartments that are available that people can run into. They're either staying flat, they're going down. Here, the supply gets thinner every year. And the only apartments that are available to rent, there's so many people fighting over them in the middle of this housing crisis because there just aren't enough of them. Landlords have no choice but to pass off their increased cost floor to whoever's left to rent something. They only need one person to pay $6,000 for a one bedroom. And if that person's out there, even though this is a bad situation for everybody, it's the situation that has to exist if New York wants to have all.
Hey, don't need tellers. All these housing markets in red states where there's relaxed bureaucratic red tape have their own sets of problems like foundations sinking because it was built on unstable bedrock limestone water management.
Imagine buying a dream home.
That's great. None of that has anything to do with what we're talking about. Thanks for the donation, stupid.
All the free programs, you see. Meanwhile, it's the landlord's fault if the apartments don't justify fixing, or if the landlord's so broke he doesn't have the money to fix the apartments. Look at this.
What's happened? I can't remember exactly the year.
A year?
More than years.
Mayor Zohran Mamdani inspecting broken floor tiles in an apartment on Clarkson Avenue in Prospect Lefferts Gardens, getting a first-hand look at the deteriorating conditions, from an eroding bathtub surface to a rust-covered, corroded bathroom pipe and red paint splashed about.
And you told the landlord about this?
Yes.
And what was the response?
Call some numbers.
Okay, my first problem with this is who put the red paint on the wall? Did the landlord walk in and put the red paint on the wall? We don't know. Some of what you see in these apartments could definitely be the fault of the renter. But the other problem is, where does the landlord get the money to fix these apartments? They get it from the rent that people pay. And if their rent is capped, because you've got some buildings where all the apartments are stabilized, if the building can't earn enough money to meet the landlord's taxes and fuel costs and heating and repairs, he's not going to have money to send people over to these apartments, tear them apart and fix them up, which is what needs to happen. So we've created a situation of freebies that has actually destroyed prosperity and taken away the future homes of people who are living in them right now and don't understand why this situation even exists in the first place. It's sad, but we've been taught that capitalism's the enemy in New York. We've been taught that anybody who earns money is the enemy. We've been taught that, if landlords make money off you because you live somewhere, you're not living the American dream, you're trapped, they should be punished. But this is what punishment looks like. It's punishment that everybody experiences at once.
Residents in this same building and in others owned by the landlord Pinnacle Realty say they've experienced similar conditions, from leaking bathroom ceilings to moldy drywall. Tenant unions rallying in response, demanding stronger tenant protections. We are the tenants! We are the tenants! On his first day in office, Mamdani made his first major policy announcement.
Okay, so look, we got these signs right here. All these apartments that are falling apart, these are all the rent stabilized apartments. The apartments that are $5,000, $6,000 a month, those are the brand new luxury buildings. Those are the nice places for the elite of the world to move into. But the places that average people can afford are falling apart and destroyed, and they don't understand why. It's because we don't have a free market when it comes to housing here. We've got a market for people who are so rich that it doesn't matter, or that they're willing to live with a whole bunch of roommates just to get something that is, I guess you could say, nicer. But the problem here is there's no more room for the middle class. Where are they going to go? If you don't have a rent-stabilized apartment already, there's no way to get one. These places are all taken. And even if you could get one, it's going to look like what we're seeing in this video.
Signing 3 executive orders aimed at protecting tenants and fast-tracking housing across the city. He said this building, along with 92 others owned by the same landlord, is currently in bankruptcy proceedings and set to be auctioned off to a new owner, one who also ranks among the city's worst landlords.
Like, the guy's in fucking bankruptcy. It's just, and it's and again, it's rent stabilized. I mean, it's just nonsense. This is what communism gets you. Soul Child, donate $2, regime change working out so well. Here we go, just dumbass shit. That's great. Wonderful. You're a dumbass.
Carl Jobst and Billy
At Genesis 8969E90, I enjoyed the first Incredibles movie. The sequel, however, was a pile of SJW trash because all the male characters were dumber than the female characters.
That's good. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Oh my god. Oh. Oh, this is so bad. I literally cannot hear anything out of my left ear. It's totally blocked. I'm gonna have to go to the hospital and get my fucking ear cleaned out.
Mitchell are at it again in what may be a hilarious lawsuit in Florida. We're going to cover that on The Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney, particularly Florida attorney, and this is a Fast Facts video, the quick and dirty version of the latest in legal news. So, in case you don't know, Australian YouTuber Carl Jobst has been in a long-standing feud with one Billy Mitchell, the Donkey Kong King, also selling some hot sauce, Ricky's hot sauce. And now, after they concluded a lawsuit in Australia, we're looking at a new defamation lawsuit filed in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida as Billy Mitchell, Florida resident. So that is filed indeed in Florida. So let's get some background in our opening statements. In 2021, Mitchell sued Jobst in Australia for defamation over Jobst's 2021 videos related to Benjamin Smith's death and also some cheating allegations. Now, especially related to the comments on the death, Mitchell won 350,000 Australian dollars. You guys can convert that to US dollars, euros, yen, whatever you want. But he won. Mitchell won that case. And Jobst did not actually.
That is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Just insane. I don't know. I don't know why so many people were like had the opinion that Jobst deserved it, or like this was even remotely sensible. Like, Carl Jobst is a big YouTuber and everything, but like he's not that big. He's not like fucking
a dream home in the desert.
Fucking YouTube. Yeah, 1 million subs. What? He's averaging around 800K a video, something like that. He's not fucking Mr. Beast or PewDiePie or anything like that. So he has like a little niche community in speedrunning and shit. Even if he said something about Billy Mitchell that wasn't true, that was kind of damaging to his character. Like the idea that this would impact Billy Mitchell in any like real practical way is just kind of a joke. And it wasn't even that big of a fucking deal. He got bad information that Billy pushed some guy to commit suicide, and then he later apologized for it. Big fucking deal. Like the idea that he owes him 350,000, like that. It's just nuts. Totally fucking crazy. Like maybe you could argue 20, 30K, something like that, but like insane, ridiculous amount of fucking money for something so stupid. Dodo donated $2. React to this, VG.
Discord messed up, and when I say they messed up,
and this.
It's a place.
Okay, I'll react to that in a bit. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
And speaking of which, I recently watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and it was amazing, way better than today's movies.
Yeah, it is. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
$121. I doubt he even knows how to read the science correctly.
What's your name?
I'm Emily. It's nice to meet you.
You work here?
Sort of, in a way, yeah.
What do you mean in a way?
I work for Tempter, so I'm the market manager. THC has its benefits, so does CBD as
What?
well. It's good for muscle recovery. That's why we sponsor a lot of sporting events. It's good for muscle
It is not good for muscle recovery.
recovery, so a lot of athletes appreciate that.
Slows down your reaction time.
That's
It's
why you drink it
suboptimal.
after and not before.
No, over a long term, it's pretty
Not
terrible.
if you're training correctly.
Why does he seem high all the time?
The science disagrees with you. No, I don't support weed. Weed is horrible. I thought you...
Yeah, crystal meth is where it's at. If you want optimal performance, you need to stick to crystal meth. Oh. Yeah, THC is not going to help with muscular recovery. You could maybe argue CBD will help to some extent, but yeah, THC, no. Oh.
Work ready. Does it end here? Does it end here? Like,
Well, that was pretty awkward. He seems kind of sauced.
Yeah, the end of the venue? Yeah.
Just looking for a girl's cold approach.
Your what?
My cold approach?
Oh. They in there. You gotta go in there. Hey, what's up, young man? How you doing, bro?
Kristen, good to see you, man.
Good to see you, man.
How's the event going?
Yeah, it's good.
Really weird how he kind of blew up on social media. Thanks for the donation, John.
It's funny how communism is making New York broke and SJWs like Dark Souvenir.
Yeah, it's almost like if they were allowed to get a job and work, they could make money. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Place where you can shop Toys R Us, Bath and Body Works, Estee.
BTW, what is it with making male characters stupid, VG?
Well, women like to imagine that they know better. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Lauder, Home Depot, and Tempur-Pedic all under one roof. And no, it's not a shopping mall, or a Walmart, or a Macy's. This is the Navy Exchange. It's a chain of retail stores operated by the U.S. Navy for active duty military members, veterans, and their families. Some are small convenience stores called micro markets, and others are sprawling department stores. These shops, along with a chain of hotels called Navy Lodges, are run by the Navy Exchange Service Command, known as NEXCOM.
When someone joins the military, they raise their hand and they say, I'm going to serve, and we say, hey, we're going to take care of you. And one of these benefits is the Navy Exchange benefit.
Products are typically discounted and tax-free. 100% of the store's profits goes back to sailors.
If you come here and buy a couple big items, you're saving $400, $500 if it adds up.
But sales have fallen. From fiscal 2021 to fiscal 2024, sales were down nearly 5% at a time when retail sales overall were growing. That's proof the Navy Exchange stores have lost market share to bigger, savvier competitors like Amazon and Walmart. Now, the government is spending millions to win back shoppers.
We didn't start off saying we're going to create the store of the future, but we were 2 or 3 projects in and realized that's in essence what we're doing. Anytime we've touched an area, it's driving more sales.
CNBC went to Virginia to get a first-hand look to see how the U.S. Navy is renovating its retail stores so it can better compete with Walmart, Amazon, and Target. So far,
They say it's working.
Yeah, the anchor baby thing is a joke. I don't think if you asked any of the founding fathers, if they think anchor babies should become citizens, they'd say yes. So yeah. It's a stupid idea.
The retail world has always been competitive, but even more so as e-commerce becomes faster and more convenient. Over the past 5 years, Amazon has scooped up more and more of overall consumer spending.
They have good things at the exchange. I don't have a problem with what they carry. I can find a variety of stuff here, but it's just the convenience. Amazon's never closed.
I have an Amazon Prime membership. I shop at Costco. I'm a fan of Costco. We are never going to fill 100% of the needs of a patron. We'd like to think we would, but that's almost an impossibility. But what we want to do is whenever they need something, we want to be first or second in their mind, preferably first.
Sales have been on the decline for more than a decade, falling around 20% between fiscal.
And speaking of Hollywood,
and we're going to talk about Hollowdown versus.
Okay, I'm not watching that. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. This is fucking boring.
This time they messed up pretty bad because they gave the Discord e-gangsters, the cyber criminals of Discord, a banning exploit where they can pick any server they want on Discord and get them banned in less than a day. And this has resulted in the e-gangsters making their own Discord hitman service where you can pay between 5 to 200 euros to ban a Discord server. And I'm going to show you the all-out e-gangster war this caused. I'm going to show you how this even works and why I didn't even want to expose this in the first place, because I saw this as a good thing somehow. Yeah, this is a long story, so instead of doing all the foreplay stuff, let's just crack right into this bad boy. Basically, all you need to know is that like 30 people were spamming my DMs and it was driving me crazy, but they were sending me this telegram called Discord ban exploit. Now, I pulled up my cellular mobile device, dismissed my Grindr notification, and I visited this Telegram channel, and the first thing I saw when I looked in their chat is that people were trying to get me banned.
I'm like, what do you say f me for?
I guess I got some Discord ops. But the best part is that these people weren't actually trying to get me banned, they were just e-begging for my e-downfall. Because the way that the system would work is that you would have to pay to ban people. But the interesting thing that I saw is that this is not only a price list for banning Discord servers, but you can also whitelist your server because yes, you can protect your server from these e-hitman. So someone could spend 200 euros or 230 US dollars to ban my Discord server, or I could give this guy $230 and I would be protected. So this is not a hitman service anymore. This is a Discord mafia. But inside your brain, you might think this is like the Discord Sopranos.
The gabagool.
But this is more of like the geeky D&D boys around a table LARPing as the Sopranos, because when I looked at the main chat, holy shit, this thing reeked of chronically online loser. I saw this message from Nash saying, N-word, shut up, f***ing Arsler, suck my balls, N-word. Don't worry, the crash out didn't stop there. They said, N-word is trying to ego play with my ego, f***ing Arsler, dumbass, N-word, bitch ass. You know, maybe the more stupid these people sound, the more government benefits they'll get from unemployment. I'm not sure how this stuff works, but this is the prime example of Discord e-gangster culture. You even got an e-girl profile picture. Now, I thought these people were top-tier LARPing, pretending to ban people, but the most surprising thing about this exploit is that it somehow worked, and this resulted in World War e-gangster. Because inside of the Telegram channel, they had a proofs channel which showed all of the Discord servers that were getting banned. And people were using this ban exploit for anything and everything. Like there was a Minecraft Discord server that got banned because I assume little Timmy must have gotten in trouble or got his diamonds stolen. And I think there must be some serious Discord e-gangster beef in the German side of Discord, because I was seeing this German meetup server get banned, German voice Roblox game get banned. nuts. Someone might have gotten catfished by a femboy who was actually a fem whale or something, because I saw this King Shard 18 plus ERP Discord server get banned. But of course, we're talking about e-gangsters. What people will do is they will try banning the server so that they could take their invite link for their own server. You know, maybe it was promised to them 3,000 years ago. I'm not sure how it works. But the most common Discord servers that were getting banned that I saw on this Telegram chat were cheating servers, because cheaters, since they can't win normally, they will use this banning exploit to take out their cheating competition. Like, for example, there's this Elite 4 Discord server that got banned. Now, I could dissect what HWID perm temp TPM IOMMU means, or we could just look at the picture that says they are the #1 provider of market-leading cheats, except every single other website is also apparently #1. But one of my favorite servers that got banned is this Velo one. This is a cheating server, and the reason why this is my favorite is because what would happen in World War E-Gangster is that these people would get a message from other Discord E-Gangsters saying, "Hello, Velo. I want to let you know that I am ready to term this Discord server. I'll wait for you to reply. I will want $150 to not Litecoin address. You probably saw all the other... sorry, I must be a little British. You probably saw all the other server gone, like reported lol, Zombieverse, and a lot off big servers." Like, this is an extortion message. It's like, give me money or I will ban your server. I don't know how anyone's supposed to take this shit seriously, but it seems like it's written by someone who hasn't passed like grade 6 spelling. Now, at this point, I wondered, who would be targeted next? Hey, buddy. Someone paid. Someone paid the 200 euros to get my Discord server banned. And according to Addison, it will take 1 day max for my Discord server to get banned. Ladies and gentlemen, it's finally happened. My dream, my Discord server finally got banned. I can escape Discord and go outside for once. And my worst nightmare happened, because this message was sent to me 2 days ago and I can still go on my Discord server. So I was I was pretty fucking disappointed that nothing happened. I was hoping. Imagine the clickbait. Discord bans me off Discord. Yeah, nothing fucking happened. And I just want to point out, this is confusing because the ban exploit does work. Like, it has worked for a couple of other Discord servers. Like, they are getting banned somehow. But the funny thing is that this is not the first time someone tried getting me banned by paying $230. Because it turns out I was talking to this guy, John, and he also paid 200 euros. And considering we're looking at his ticket inside of my Discord server, nothing happened. But I think now is a good time to talk about this video. No, I'm kidding. There's no sponsor. I think it's a good time to explain how this all works, because initially people were trying to figure out how this exploit worked, and they were telling me, how do I say this nicely? They were telling me the dumbest fucking things I've ever heard in my whole entire life. None of this stuff made any sense at all. So anyways, let me show you the crazy detective skills that it took me to figure this bad boy out. So I went to the Telegram, and it's owned by this person named Addison. And I saw that they had like 9 gazillion different usernames, and the more usernames they have, the better. Because for me, it's like how many concussions they have in terms of their intelligence. And after doing a little bit of stalking, I found this message that told me to DM at Addison, and this is in a Telegram channel called Talk Grabber, which is an info stealer, malware as a service. This is cybercrime. In fact, this post is about a stake phishing page where it will pretend to be stake so that you can steal money from gambling addicts. So like, the person who's running this exploit is a genuine fucking cyber criminal, which keep that in the back of your mind as I keep explaining how this all works. Now, boys, I have a bit of an update for you. You see.
And speaking of Dark Sovina, this guy supports Palestine and yet he has the nerve to make posts like this.
Anti-LGBTQ plus sentiments is a war against the youth, who are far more likely to be open about being queer than those of older generations. Won't tolerate Gen Z and Gen Alpha slander from my generation, who are anything but progressive. Gay. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
See, I was looking at the Talk Grabber Telegram and I saw that message, it got edited somehow, and it turns out they tried covering their tracks by, instead of DMing at Addison, it's now DM at AXHOUD, so they tried covering their tracks, but you gotta be quicker than that. Now you might be asking, how did I ever figure this out? Addison being a cyber criminal. And I don't want to tell you exactly how I did it, but it took me 2 minutes to find this. 2 whole minutes. Now the funny thing is that when I was looking into this, it was right after someone was trying to ban my server, and the first thing I saw when I opened up the Talk Grabber Telegram was my server being listed as a backup server for this info stealer, malware as a service. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to frame me as the new frontier of scamming people on stake. I was kind of hoping this worked, to be honest. Again, having no Discord server would be like someone releasing me from my prison, my shackles, and it didn't work. But the strange thing is that this did work for some people. In fact, remember that cheating server where they're the #1 market-leading cheats? In their Telegram right now, this is not a screenshot, like I'm in their Telegram, you could see that they are listed as a backup server. In fact, if I go to their website, the cheating software's website, I tried joining their Discord server and it says secure entry protocol. Due to recent malicious Discord ban exploits targeting our community, direct server access is currently restricted. These people did genuinely get banned. So in terms of figuring out this whole exploit, it seems like the way they get people banned is by sending their Discord invite link in this malware Telegram chat. And I'm assuming what happened is that at some point, Discord got so sick and tired of banning these guys because they would constantly make new servers and advertise it in the Telegram that some Discord employee just automatically would ban servers that got posted. And the cyber criminals behind this info stealer, they kept realizing, they're like, guys, why does our server keep getting banned minutes after we posted on Telegram? So what they did is they tested it using a completely different Discord server and it worked. And that's exactly when this whole Discord mafia started. But the confusing thing is that my Discord server is on this Telegram chat, yet it's not banned. So what is actually going on here? Well, surprise, surprise, boys. This came as a shock to absolutely no one. But Discord e-gangsters will lie so that you give them money, because despite what these e-mafia morons say, this is not a Discord banning exploit. You can't ban every single Discord server with this. In fact, even the name Discord ban exploit is a complete lie. This is not an exploit. In fact, it's something that's, in my opinion, even more interesting than just a basic exploit. So to explain what this is, we need to take a look at 2 innocent Discord servers that got banned. The first server I'm looking at is the GTA 5 Grand's Roleplay server, which you can see this is actually Addison bragging about taking down this server. But the interesting thing is that when you actually join the GTA 5 Grand Roleplay Discord, they have an announcement saying, "Dear players, due to an apparent Discord side error that mistakenly froze our server, we have been forced to make the decision to move to a new one." So the server didn't get banned, but it got frozen. In fact, there was a Discord server called Epic Youth, which was just a German youth Discord server. There was nothing wrong with it, but it was labeled as successfully banned in the proofs channel. And that was just a flat out fucking lie. It did not get banned, and I thought everything was completely fine, but you'll notice that in their general chat, for like a solid day, no one was talking. And it turns out what happened is that if you tried sending messages in this Discord server, Discord would give you an error saying sending messages to this channel has been temporarily disabled. And this made me realize that the Epic Youth server didn't get banned. Instead, it got in Discord's limited state. And when a Discord server is limited, it's basically frozen. It can't do anything, which is exactly what the GTA server also said. So with these 2 servers being limited, it actually gave me a good idea on how this whole thing works. Because to my knowledge, a Discord server being limited means that it's flagged by Discord and a Discord employee is going to look through it. So this isn't a banning exploit. This instead is a super powerful reporting system. It's a reporting system where you can send a link to this Telegram and it's 100% guaranteed that a Discord employee will look at the server and see if there's anything wrong with it. And that's extremely important to distinguish, because the only people that were getting banned from this are people who owned Discord servers that broke the rules. Because I want to tell you about the poor victims that got banned that were crying to me, telling me, "NTTS, please.
Please save me. Please get these people away from me."
I had over 30 people in the last couple of days tell me and constantly harass me about this exploit. We have this guy Moonlight who not only made 2 video suggestion tickets, but they also annoyed me with a DM. There's this person Crash who also made a video ticket. And there was also this Mergen dude who has made 2 tickets who would constantly ping me. All those 3 people that I just showed you that annoyed me, all these motherfuckers are part of a single cheating Discord server that got banned. I had this guy who said, "You cannot close this ticket. This is going to be your top 3 videos. Like, at this point, I'm genuinely speechless. I don't know what these people want. Like, what the f do they want me to say? Guys, breaking news. Discord is banning servers that break Discord's rules. Top 3 video of all time. This is me venting at this point. I'm just gonna move on. Let's just get back to John. John was a breath of fresh air. Thank you, John, whoever you are. You didn't make my brain want to seep out of my skull. And while yes, John is a genuine loser that makes multiplayer games worse by making video game cheats and selling it to dumb little Timmies who will use them, but despite that, he made me understand why all those people were annoying me. All those cheaters were crying about this exploit. And it's because they're talking to me because they want me to.
Is the first Terminator movie worth watching, or T2 Judgment Day? They're both worth watching.
To make a video so that this is patched, which just goes to show how effective this exploit was, even though it's not an exploit. But this caused so much damage and this banned so many cheating communities that it got to a point where this guy straight up told me that money is not the issue here. He was willing to spend.
Which is worse, the Democrats or the Republicans?
Right now I'd say the Democrats, just because they're infested with retarded communists. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
The 200 euros to get my Discord server banned so a video would be made. Like, when their Discord server got banned, this dude's customers thought that they might have exit scammed, and they estimated that they lost possibly thousands of dollars. And like, this is just one cheating guy. I had 30 other people reach out to me, so there's like, you know, like there's thousands and thousands of dollars of lost gains from the cheating community that was affected by this exploit. Now, I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. When I was talking to all these cheaters, even John, despite him being nice to me, I had one thought that just kept popping into my mind. Why should I even give a fuck? And spoiler, I don't give a fuck. This to me was a fucking Christmas miracle. I have Discord e-gangsters and cheaters fighting with each other in Discord's World War e-gangster war. People are paranoid, people are taking down their servers. Like, this was cleaning up Discord. I was actually supporting this bad boy. I'm like, yo, let this fire burn, baby. I want to see this shit crumble to the ground. So like, this is the reason why I didn't even want to make this video. But obviously I did decide to make a video, and I made this video for 3 reasons. And the first reason is because the Telegram is straight up just
Dodo, donate $2. Call him. Also, can you mention the Epstein files? Who Epstein is based in everything if you don't have something else worth talking about. What the fuck is this thing doing?
Agree, but the cope afterwards is going to be like, oh, it's because he has better lawyers or whatever the fuck, but it's definitely going to be like a easy response.
They're going to snark the lawyer, or not the lawyer, they're going to snark the judge.
Yeah, because you got to consider, as much as people don't understand fucking anything about how any community ever works, it's so frustrating. Like, after it, most people are just going to say that a case was dismissed. Nobody is following the intricate schizo shit that is said online about anything. That's why it was so stupid. For like Hassan and all the Hassan followers, like, oh, like other people aren't going to care about these comments or whatever. And it's like, bro, like you can't, the rape comments and the 9/11 shit and even the Dan Crenshaw shit, which I think is fucking hilarious, by the way. Even that stuff, like when normal, well-adjusted human beings outside of like the streamer world, when they hear shit like this, this is the most insanely toxic shit you could ever fucking say ever. Like nobody in the normal world is gonna be okay. Like running like a back-to-back thing of those kinds of comments, that's unhinged shit to normal people. Yeah.
Yeah, Twitcher Terrorist was a pretty crazy experience. He says a lot of insane fucking shit.
Yeah. Oh shit. Oh, apparently he's in a Soypills chat. Just for the record, I literally don't care if anyone associates with Destiny. I gave some arguments about Hassan that you didn't even need because I care about the topic of deplatforming / excising. I would have to go back and check it because I don't follow him now, but like this Kilo guy used to tweet about me so much. And remember, he's the one who donated on that stream. He donated on Justical stream saying that like Mr. Mooten is just here because he's letting me fucking bang his fucking wife. It's just like an unhinged amount of like crazy, disgusting, like wild comments about everything. But yeah, but it's like, oh no, I just care about deplatforming. Like they sane wash themselves so much. That's why I got so mad at Soypill on that conversation. But the reason why I'm not nuking Soypill, why I didn't nuke him in this conversation, because I don't think Soypill is like, the frustrating part is a lot of these people just don't know. They're not aware. Even, and it strains credulity, but like even even for people like Pisco, I don't think that Pisco is aware to the amount of like coordination that happens in other places. The only way you could like really truly get a handle on this is if you have a community that you actively participate in, that you also like kind of moderate. That's why I don't think Loner Box's community, because that's like a real community with people that have like opinions and thoughts and like moderators and like a community understanding of things. And then same thing with like even for counterpoints. Like I think that's why these communities are a little bit more impervious. But like these guys they join like 5 people, join the Discord server, they'll start debating nonstop. They'll have like those voice chats. I've had so many conversations sent to me, like 3-hour or 6-hour debates where just to go like 3 other people are arguing why my relationship or my hookups with that Anna Frills girl, why that was like rape or whatever, e-rape. It is just like, why you guys are like, as recently as like a month ago, I'm like,
what's up, Vegan Gains?
Oh God.
Well, somebody mentioned rape, and I figured I'd argue the fact that Epstein did nothing wrong.
Okay.
Okay, never mind.
What did
I disavow.
When we say Epstein did nothing wrong, what particular actions from Epstein are we talking about?
Oh, like basically the Epstein stuff is overblown. I don't think he was like trafficking children or anything, like fucking raping 12-year-olds, like, you know, is claimed, or even young adults. What seems to have been the case is like he was a little loose with the prostitutes he was hiring. So if you look at the indictments that were actually brought up against him, there was one 17-year-old. I think she was 17 in a few months, and she lied about her age to him. And that's it. Like, again, the other charges were just related to like international prostitution, basically. It's basically Diddy charges. So all the accusations about how these girls were being held against their will on the island, none of that's being substantiated, and these women have a very clear motivation to lie. Especially since he's rich, and after he died, his estate was basically up for grabs. Similar thing happened with Michael Jackson. After Michael Jackson died, a bunch of these fucking kids, well, one in particular, ended up claiming that Michael Jackson raped him so that he could get some money from his estate, even though he, you know, according to him, he lied on the stand when he had every opportunity to say at the time, oh, Michael Jackson raped me. But now that his estate is up for grabs and he can't defend himself, now everything's changed. So I think something similar happened there.
Okay. I mean, I kind of agree that a lot of the Epstein stuff I think was overblown, but some other strong claims in there. But yeah, okay, well.
Yeah, and I think as far as like Trump is concerned with the Epstein files, if there's anything to it, there is some interesting stuff in the Epstein files about how a lot of these girls were brought in from Russia. It may be the case that Putin and the Russian regime had some sort of spying operation, and they might have some dirt on Trump. Like, who knows? Trump might have fucked some like 18-year-old prostitute, or who knows, like some 16 or 17-year-old chick who lied about her age. And they have some sort of dirt on him. That might also explain some of the weird relationship he has with Putin and Russia and stuff.
Maybe. Okay.
Do you think OJ did it?
O.J. Simpson?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He admitted to it to one of his close friends.
Ooh.
Sorry, wait, I cut out for a sec. What did you say about OJ?
He did it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If the glove doesn't fit,
you must
have quit. Must have quit.
Yeah, that was a complete fucking joke. The jury actually, I think, made the right decision. The defense was able to provide reasonable doubt, in my opinion. This happens a lot with cases like this where, especially with like fucking California, they're pretty bad. The police will get overconfident and just have a very sloppy, you know, investigation, and then again, the defense is able to introduce reasonable doubt, which they did. So I think the jury actually made the right decision. It's just that he obviously did it.
Okay.
Also, Zoran Mamdani is a communist, and he should be deported.
Okay, all right.
Trump should sick
All right.
ice on his ass.
That's kind of unhinged, but all right.
No, he's a communist. We all know.
I don't know if we should be deporting people from the U.S. for being a communist, but
Oh, I think so.
okay. Well,
Well, do you think if somebody came into the U.S. and they're a jihadist terrorist, that they should stay?
well, when you say jihadist terrorist, the implication is that they're either planning or already committed terrorist attacks, in which case I would say probably not.
Okay, well, let's say they are in support of terrorism and killing non-believers. They just won't enact on it.
Global Intifada.
Yeah. I don't want those fuckers in my country. Fucking deport them.
Well, I mean, like,
you don't have to worry about that, right?
True.
No, we do.
I think that
there's
I
actually
don't think
been
that,
there's actually been at least 2 killings in Canada committed by the Iranian regime. And again, it's because of our sloppy immigration policies. Just let whoever the fuck in. Don't check their background. Don't bother getting their biometric data and stuff like that.
okay, wow, that would be pretty bad.
I mean, when I got my permanent resident, I had to get my biometric data. And I had to give like an FBI report.
Yeah, well, is that Canada or the US?
Canada?
Oh, yeah. Well, they're letting in Iranian regime terrorists here, so...
Okay, man, we'll just move past that, alright. Triple S.
I think they're probably a little too worried about white dudes.
Sometimes it really is shrimp as.
All right, well, take care.
Have a good one, Vegan Gains.
Why do Democrats support communism? Is it because of white guilt?
No, they're just gay retards. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Oh, man. Blasphemy, donate chillers, bro. Peep this fuckery low. Kanye and Sneeko gotta be the most retarded people on the internet.
Dead, not in jail. Because I'd rather be dead than to be on medication. No one from the family has taken any responsibility for my hospital visit, but if we were to go on mine, that's 50% of what people say at least. Or maybe, am I lying?
It doesn't matter.
Am I lying? It do matter! It does matter! It does matter!
What do you want you just said, you know?
I have to finish the sentence.
It does matter!
It matters to us and you. It doesn't matter what the internet says. It matters what we think. Yay.
So what?
Why are you sending me this?
I'm Israel Chai, baby.
Great, yeah, wonderful.
I think you're conflating Jews, American Jews, with the actions of not Israel, but the actions of the government of Israel, which is Netanyahu.
It's bigger than just Netanyahu.
Okay, great. Who cares? Thanks for the donation, dude.
And speaking of Ice VG,
A U.S. Army Staff Sergeant is trying to stop his wife from being deported after she was detained inside a Louisiana military base. Staff Sergeant Matthew Blank says his wife, Annie Ramos, was born in Honduras. They married last month, and he recently brought her to his military base so that she could take steps toward a green card. But federal immigration agents detained Ramos, and she is now being held in a detention center. DHS says she has no legal status to be in this country, but Blank says he will not stop fighting.
That's great. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Scamming people at this point. It's kind of just funny because I looked in the Telegram and they have a new system. They have an unbanning system where if you pay them $100, they will just unban any server because they can magically do that. By the way, this doesn't exist. This is straight up a scam. This, like, if you fall for this, you have brain damage, okay? I'm sorry. And it gets even better because a couple days before that, Addison made a new system called a reseller panel where you could pay 1,000 euros to ban 300 servers. They were trying to get other people to buy this thing. All it's doing is trying to get $1,000 from stupid people because they know Discord was going to fix this. And surprise, boys, it already has been fixed. That's why I'm making this video, because there's no more danger anymore. This stuff is all over. Because you can see on April 8th, in the Talk Grabber, they posted their main server, which I click on the link, it takes me to a Discord invite, and the invite works. And the best part is that still in the Telegram, they're saying that they're banning people. So they're just continuing the scam as if it still works. It doesn't. But the second reason why I made this video is because if you take a step away for a second, this is genuinely fucking hilarious. The optics of this, brilliant. We have me, a YouTuber who makes videos about horrible Discord servers that make Discord a horrible place. Yeah, let's put them on the do not communicate list. But hey, actual genuine cyber criminals that are trying to sell phishing pages, yeah, give them the special privileges, let them cook. And the crazy thing is that they could have used this special power for good. Like, I would kill for something like this. Something where I can just say, hey, Discord, check out this server. It's an underage e-dating server, ban it. A condo Discord server, ban it. A cybercrime Discord server, I just send it to Discord and they 100% will look at it. That's what these guys had. And instead of trying to, like, you know, do a good thing, no. Discord mafia. And the final reason why I'm making this video is because genuine, innocent Discord servers did get affected by this. Like, there's this German voice Discord server that got banned, and you cannot visit the invite link. Like, the invite link doesn't work. You would assume it got banned, but the server still exists through discovery, so it's in this weird limbo mode where
actually appeal that, but instead chose to file for bankruptcy. There was also some asset management that he engaged in at the same time. Now, this new lawsuit arises from Mitchell's comments after the bankruptcy. So this is really a response to that bankruptcy and things that were said after the bankruptcy. Now, very important to this, and we're going to remind you throughout, is that Karl Jobst filed this as a pro se litigant, which means he does not have a lawyer, and it very much shows after I reviewed the exhibits and the document itself. And much of this looks like it might have been cooked up by ChatGPT. So let's go into what the argument is, the background. So this is a federal court, so it's diversity jurisdiction, as Jobst is an Australian citizen, and obviously Billy Mitchell, American and Western Florida, so you're gonna have a Florida citizen, so the federal courts have jurisdiction. Now, the claims focus on accusations of criminal conduct, fraud, illegal bankruptcy activities, scamming donors, which are mostly based on X posts and his YouTube videos, and that, once again, all pro se, all filed by himself, and just compiling these posts and exhibits, filing those all with the Florida court, including some of my own posts, which we'll get into a little bit later. So what are the causes of action? What is he actually suing for? So he's suing for defamation per se. So statements, accusations of crime that he's saying are defamation per se. So if you make a criminal accusation against somebody, that's often defamation per se. Then he's got unauthorized appropriation of name or likeness. In Florida, that's common law right of publicity, as well as intentional infliction of emotional distress, or IIED. So we'll examine all of those kind of separately and put those together in our analysis. So looking at the arguments for defamation, there's really 5 counts that he puts in his complaint, Karl Jobst, related to that defamation. The first is criminal bankruptcy misconduct. So saying that, hey, those statements related to criminal bankruptcy misconduct, that is defamation. So saying, hey, he moved assets to his wife or did something shady, that's the first count. Then you've got accusations related to the 2022 GoFundMe, saying it's fraudulent. That's count 2. Count 3 being that those funds were then misappropriated from that GoFundMe. So that's count 3. Then you've got a deceptive taking of around $300K from one Marcus Notch person. And that's the 4th count. And the 5th count being overall criminal fraud of about $500,000 from his audience and donors. And so when you look, okay, what's the proof of this? Where is this? Well, a lot of this is ex post. So you see stuff like this that he just kind of copied over. And it's very interesting because it's all black and white, but you can see the Billy Mitchell post there. Carl Jobst has engaged in serious illegal activity before and during this bankruptcy process. I may take him to court, right? So that's a comment that he made a while back. And then Billy Mitchell posting, Carl Jobst complained about one of my tweets to the bankruptcy officer. Imagine publicly attacking someone for 4 years just to privately whine like a crybaby. Jobst is serious contender for locale of the year. Even iDubbbz wouldn't have done this. And then had a post, wasted his life, the saddest albino of all time. So this is an actual exhibit. This is something that he felt, okay, this is defamatory, right? And then beyond that, he added into the exhibits actual comments and replies, which I thought was absolutely just mind-boggling to the complaint. So he's alleging damages against Mitchell for things that were replies and comments, not by Mitchell himself, but indeed by people just responding to this. For example, David saying, if the bankruptcy court is willing to allow debtors to deprive their creditors, namely Billy, everyone will be doing that. Carl is a fraud. Ball Guy says, isn't that illegal? Once again, asking a question there. Gondhovding says, that is bankruptcy fraud, LMAO. Charlie Carter said, this is clear and obvious fraud. Once again, very important to point out here, these are all comments by people other than Billy Mitchell, right? So yes, obviously someone's saying you're committing fraud. That could be defamation per se because you're accusing someone of a crime. But that person right there is not Billy Mitchell. These responders are not Billy Mitchell, which is hilarious to me that Carl Jobst decided to include these as part of his exhibits. So as an argument related to the defamation lawsuit, Florida's anti-SLAPP is not the strongest. I say that as a Florida lawyer. There are other states with stronger anti-SLAPP statutes that protect speech, protect free speech. The entire intent of these anti-SLAPP statutes is to keep people being allowed to have open discourse on the internet. Florida's statute allows early dismissal if the statements involve public interest. So there could be an argument made, this is about the gaming community. This is really a feud within the gaming community. So this is something that is really a public interest. Now, it is harder generally to dismiss specific criminal accusation. So if you say, hey, this person is a thief or this person is a murderer, right? That's a specific criminal accusation. That's harder. But he's got to pin those on Mitchell himself. He can't point to the comments and say, oh yeah, this person commented and therefore Mitchell is guilty of that. That's not how the law works in Florida or really anywhere, seriously. The other thing that Jobst has, which is a huge barrier, is to prove actual malice. As he's a public figure and so is Mitchell, right? They're both public figures, but the key here is he must prove Mitchell knew the statements were false or had a reckless disregard for the truth. And
Dodo, donate $3.
Trump has threatened a Holocaust against Iran. That is literal. A genocide is when you try to wipe out a race or religion in whole or in part. That is what happened in Gaza. A Holocaust is when you try to destroy an entire race, religion, or civilization. Now, get a load of this direct quote from Donald Trump. He said today, a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. That is the kind of talk that Hitler had. And at this point, it is not hyperbole. Threatening to wipe out an entire civilization is what Hitler did. Now, so he's now putting that moral stain on us. Guys, even if he doesn't do it, just the threat of a Holocaust committed by America is a moral stain on us that we can't get off of us. So this is why I voted against this madman 3 times. I did not like the corporate Democrats they put up against them. I couldn't stand them. I wish we had.
That's great. Thanks for the donation. Thanks for the donation.
And that's going to be a high barrier. Did he have access to all the information? Did he have all the discovery? Did he have all the information? People can suspect fraud or suspect serious misgiving or suspect irregularities. That's one thing. That's totally permissible. But he's got to prove, Jobst has got to prove that Mitchell knew that everything was kosher and said it was illegal anyways. And that's a very hard barrier to pass. Then let's get into the use of the name for promotion. So he is butthurt. Jobst is very, very angry about use of the sauce discount codes. So introducing Ricky's world famous dragon sauce, hand signed by Australian two-time himself, King Billy. Only 256 bottles of the sauce are available. Discount codes Jobst, Carl Lost, and Carl Lopst are for 10% off. So this is really crazy to me. It's not even using his image or his name or his picture. It's just a discount code. It's something that incidentally promotes that. So if you look at the Florida law, Florida's right of publicity is limited to direct promotion of products and services. So are you using that name or that image, or using Carl Jobst to directly promote this? Is his name slapped on his image, whatever else slapped on the bottle? Well, no, it's not. It's a discount code. So Mitchell has a strong argument that the hot sauce sales were just incidentally promoted by those promo codes. And this is really feud related commentary and back and forth, which is protected speech. This is just heckling, right? A discount code to literally troll you, to literally make fun of you. That is not going to be enough under the Florida law, right? If you look at Florida law, just using a discount code alone is not going to be some windfall for Carl Jobst. Sorry, that's not going to work. How about the next one? Oh, and before we get to that, we have Exhibit 43, where he's actually saying that
Oh, Jenk, are you referring to a civilization of Nazis? I have no issue with that kind of civilization being wiped off the map.
Yeah. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
my tweet related to doing legal research was harming his income. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Legal Mindset here, harming his income by saying I was doing some research with an Australian lawyer colleague on Jobst versus Mitchell. We still need to collect more information, but at this point it seems that while Jobst may not have violated Australian law in some ways, there's a huge opening that, and of course that's Billy Mitchell, may be able to attack that could cripple Jobst's future income. Once again, real research by actual lawyers, not ChatGPT, not using AI, right? We were just looking into that and we came up with some possibilities. This is totally permissible. You're allowed to do legal research. That should not harm your income. If lawyers doing legal research, my colleague being an Australian lawyer, doing some legal research is going to tank you, then you probably aren't doing something legal, or there's probably something wrong with you in your operations if people doing legal research is going to cripple you, right? That's absolutely hilarious. And of course, he included this in his court filings, which made me absolutely laugh. But one thing that will never hurt you, by the way, guys, is to get a cabbage plushie. You can look in the description below, get that link to get a cabbage plushie, which is available now. It'll also be pinned in the comments. They're very adorable and ED. The standard in Florida is beyond all possible bounds of decency. So was what Mitchell did as IIED lawsuit. He scrutiny, and that's going to
He's probably just doing this to bother Billy. Just salty about losing the lawsuit. I'm, I don't know.
Frank uploaded a new short?
Yeah, we already reacted to it. Thanks for the donation, James. Kind of sick of just stupid fucking brain rat content. Just always the same dumb shit. Over and over and over again. Yeah, I ate more today.
Damn, you've been feeling really tired lately. What gives?
I'm dieting. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Why do I keep seeing the same videos over and over and over again? Like, how the fuck does YouTube work? It's just retarded. Oh. I don't think I can mentally handle playing fucking games. I'm just gonna get too annoyed. I'm gonna just fail a mission and then have to do it all over again. I just can't handle it. I might take tomorrow off. I think I need a mental break. We'll see. I think I just need like an actual solid day off. But yeah, just if I'm on, I'm on. If I'm feeling better tomorrow, I'll stream, but I think I just need a little break. Just kind of sick of you know, sometimes you just need a break from brain rot. But hope you all had fun. Big thanks to everybody who donated on Streamlabs. Really appreciate it. Again, might take a break tomorrow. We'll see. But don't count on me being on tomorrow. But nighty night. I'll see you next time anyway.